Alright, in this video we'll be adding or subtracting fractions with like or same denominator. People tend to use like or the word same. It means the same thing. But the operation will be to add and subtract fractions that have like denominators. Okay? Now what do we mean by like denominators? Well, at this point we should be able to recall the parts of a fraction. We have, for example, a over b. The top is the numerator and the bottom is the denominator. So as the topic states, they must have like or same denominator, so the bottom value will need to be the same. Okay, so that's how we're going to be working this out. So if you have two fractions, so we do this. We have 1 over 2 plus 1 over 2. The way we're going to add this, we're going to say we will add the numerators and we keep the denominator. So add numerators and keep denominator. So you will not add the denominators, only the numerators. So that's 1 plus 1, 1 plus 1 over, and keep the denominator, which is 2, which is then 2 over 2, which is then 1. That's our solution for that one there. Let me zoom in a little bit for that one there. Sorry about that. So let me go over it again. To add two fractions that have like denominators, you will add the numerators. Recall that a fraction have a numerator at the top and a denominator at the bottom. So we'll say 1 plus 1 over 2. We keep the denominator, so that's 2 over 2, which is 1. So that's how we do that. Okay, for adding fractions that have like denominators. So now for subtraction, now if I'm to subtract, this is what you're going to do. I have 3 over 4 minus 1 over 4. I'm going to subtract. So the way you're going to subtract this is that you're going to subtract the numerators, and you simply say 3 minus 1 and keep the denominator of 4, which is then 2 over 4, and this can be reduced to 1 over 2, and that's your final answer for that one there. Okay, so now let's try a few examples which we'll be using. Okay, and if I say perform, let me put this in blue, perform the operation and simplify the result. Okay, where possible. So we will be simplifying the result where possible. So let's start our first one. We have 1 7 plus 4 7. Add the numerators, which is 1 plus 4, and keep the denominator, which is 7, which is then 5 over 7, and that's it. If we're going to be subtracting now, consider now subtraction. B. 13 over 14 minus 5 over 14. Okay, we're going to say now 13, take away 5, and keep the denominator of 14, which is then 8 over 14. This answer is not wrong, but it is simply incomplete because any fraction cannot be left this way. So you need to reduce it to lowest terms. And 2 into 8 will give us 4, and 2 into 14 will give us 7. And the result there is now 4 over 7. Okay, so that's how we'll be working with those ones here. Now let's try a few more examples, slightly different, and we put subtract. Now be careful. The problem is as follows. Negative 5 over 2, negative 5 over 2 minus the negative of 1 over 2. Okay, notice minus the other value. So the way you're going to work this out is that you will say negative, okay, and this negative will make it a positive. So therefore you go to the next step and you put negative 5 over 2 plus a half, which is then equal to negative 5 plus 1 over 2, which is then negative 4 over 2, which is then negative 4 divided by 2, negative 2, and that's your solution. Not every time you will get a whole number like this, I mean an integer, but sometimes you will end with a fraction still with that 2 at the bottom, right? And that should be understood, that that's the way you work it out. Let's try our next one where we have multiple additions. Right? Say perform the operation. Perform the operation. And it says 3 over 16 plus 3 over 16 plus 3 over 16. Okay, what you're going to do here now is simply say 3 plus 3 plus 3 over 16, which is then 9 over 16, and that's your solution. Okay, at times it may be subtraction too. So let's say, for example, you have a value 29 over 30 minus 1 over 30 minus 3 over 30. Now the way you're going to work this out is not a problem. We're going to simply say 29 minus 1 minus 3 over 30. This gives us now 29 take away 4 over 30, which is then 25 over 30. Your answer does not remain that form because you can still reduce. Therefore you say 5 into 25, 5 into 30, 6, which then gives us a value of 5 over 6. So that's how you work those problems there.